We are live. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. And this night or evening on the huddle, this evening on the huddle, I have a question for you. Are you a person who's struggling to get more engagement from your audience when you are live during your live streams? Well, if the answer is yes, tonight we're going to discuss 7 tips that are going to help you increase your live stream engagement with your audience. And we're starting right now. Praise the Lord, everyone, and welcome to the Huddle. I'm your host, Walter Strong. And if you are new here and you desire to learn about tips and tools, how to make live streaming easy for you as a beginner, we welcome you to the show. And as we said tonight, we're going to be discussing 7 tips that's going to help you and me to increase live stream engagement with our audience when we are live doing our live stream shows. And so if you're watching me this evening, either on LinkedIn or YouTube, do me a favor in the chat. Let me know where you're watching me from. Give me a hashtag Team Live in the chat so we can acknowledge you that you're watching us live here on the Huddle. And of course, if you are watching the replay, give us a hashtag Team Replay in the comment section. So without further ado, let's get into the content. How do I, when we are live streaming with our audience, we've scheduled the live stream, we've pushed the go live button, and we are live, and it is now time to go and create and share the content with the audience. And we want to be able to have that engagement with the audience that is watching us. How do we do it? What's the secret sauce? Well, let's get into this discussion. What happened? Oh, there we go. I see what I did. Hold on. See, we're gonna have a great show because every now and then technical difficulties will try to jump up. All right, there we go. Boom. There we go. So, tip number 1. How do you increase live stream engagement? It sounds simple. You said, Walter, that tip sounds simple. But how many of us are getting it right? Learning to be engaging. Learning to be engaging. And the reason why that's important for us as live streamers is because some of us who create content are extroverted. We're very outgoing individuals who can engage and have a conversation with people that we know and people that we may meet for the first time. So some of us are extroverts, but then some of us are introverts when it comes to live streaming. And so being engaging can be a challenge for individuals who are introverted. And it goes deeper than just asking someone to just, hey, put your name in the chat and let me know where you're watching me from. That's a form of engagement. Yes, it is. It's more than just, hey, give me a hashtag Team Live. But I submit to you, those of you who are watching me on YouTube or watching me on LinkedIn tonight, being engaging is about an emotional connection that you make with your audience. An emotional connection that you make with your viewers who are watching you live. An emotional connection for me is to be able to put content together that I think is relevant, the topic, the title, the description, and we can't forget about the thumbnail, that will help to create an emotional connection with you, the viewer, in the live chat of either platform that say, I want to click on this live stream and check this out. This has some interest to me. it piques your interest to say, hey, I want to check this out, and share the tips from that content that will make an emotional connection with you, because it's addressing a need in your life, maybe from an educational standpoint, or making a addressing a need in your life from an entertainment standpoint, because maybe you've had a very busy day and you just want to wind down and you want to enjoy some entertainment. And so the content that we share, the content that I share, the goal from the start of the stream is to make that emotional connection. And when you're making an emotional connection with your audience, depending on if you're on YouTube or if you're multi-streaming to other platforms like LinkedIn or others, their goal is, if you want to increase live engagement, you want to make an emotional connection. You want to make an emotional connection even to that one that's listening to you, but they can't engage in the chat because maybe they're behind the wheel driving, doing Uber. Okay, they're doing their job, or they're at a barber shop or a beauty shop and they're doing someone's hair. You still want to make an emotional connection to them so that they will definitely say, hey, this is content that's relevant to me. This is content that's purpose driven. This is content that speaks to the area code of my life, not just as a content creator, not just as a viewer, but I dare say even as a person. Tip number 2, how do you increase a live stream engagement? It's more than just saying, hey, I see my good man Frank Jackson, Action Jackson, the live stream moderator, watching me on YouTube, and my good man Mr. Saeed over on LinkedIn. It's more than just a shout out, but it's about creating an experience. I'm not a person who goes to a lot of adventure parks, such as Disney or Six Flags, or we have here on Long Island, New York, Great Adventures. I'm not a person who goes to a lot of those things. And when I do, I enjoy the experience of watching the people who are there and looking at the rides. But I'm not a person who's going to get on a roller coaster. The last time I let my daughter talk me into a roller coaster, you're talking about creating an experience. Great Adventures created such an experience in me getting on this roller coaster that you'd have thought I was having a church service while on the roller coaster, because all I couldn't stop saying but was the word Jesus, because I was like, get me off this thing. But it created an experience. So adventure parks and things of events of entertainment, they can create an experience. My question to you, those of you who enjoy live streaming to an audience, what type of an experience are you creating for your audience when they join you? Those who are returning viewers who see you, and even there for the first time, what type of an experience are you creating? Well, here at the Huddle, our goal is, to share tips, tools that's going to make live streaming easy for beginners. We say, well, Walter, I've been doing content creation for a while. I'm not a beginner, but I struggle with getting the courage to change the status from changing the status from unlisted to publish. I struggle with having the confidence to changing the status from private to publish so that you can increase your live stream engagement. Maybe the reason why you don't have live stream increased engagement is because you haven't changed the status on the live stream from unlisted, from private to publish. And because of that, you're like, how can I create an experience? Well, first of all, you got to do that. And then second, think about the experience you want to have when you come to a live stream that you're interested in getting content from. And here at the Huddle, it's about helping beginner live streamers. even those who've been around the park for a while, but still need to freshen up on the basic fundamentals, creating an experience. And that's what we do here at the Huddle. Tip number three. How do you increase live stream engagement with your audience? You ready for this? Newsflash, embracing your flaws. Embracing your flaws. I'm talking about the things that you want to share, but maybe you're a little embarrassed about because you're not for sure of how people may take you. I'm talking about the flaws that you kind of keep hidden. You keep secret. If you see the picture there, the lady there, she's kind of hiding behind the mask. We don't want to take our mask off because we don't want to be real. Embracing your flaws. You say, well, some flaws can be, filler words. I struggle from time to time with filler words where I'm trying to have a conversation with the audience, and I hear myself say, and you'd have thought somebody would have been hitting a repeat button. That's something that I'm working on. But from time to time, filler words can be a flaw, a weakness that we all deal with. And if you're struggling with that, embrace it. Sometimes it can be appearance for our lady live streamers, our women live streamers, like my dear sister, my moderator, Florence Donald, who's in the chat tonight. Your makeup, your outfit, and you're like, oh, I don't think like this color of lip gloss, or I don't like this color of this makeup that's on. Embrace your flaws. I was listening to a video on Think Media about personal branding, and the young lady had given the suggestion about doing a makeup video from beginning and putting on her makeup for the first time, and she was like, oh no, and there's no way I'm going to do that. But when she finally came around to the idea of doing it, she got so much engagement from it because there were women watching her getting up and putting on her makeup for the first time and having a conversations on why she chooses this type of lip gloss and why does she choose this type of blush and why does she do this with her eyebrows, and engagement. But that engagement didn't come until she embraced her flaws. For me personally, one of the things that I've gotten better at is my visual impairment that I deal with, which is called retina pigmentosis, where I don't see as good with my peripheral. So I try to make a big effort to making sure that I see who's in the chat or the comment section, or I'm looking at my presentation so that way I can see clearly. And one day I shared that with my audience during my live stream, and they were like, what? We're here with you. We're here with you, man. You don't have to worry about us judging you or, thinking we can't connect with you. So I had to kind of enlarge the zoom of the screen, and I embraced my flaws and move on. What's your flaw that you got to embrace as a live stream host? What's your flaw, John, that who's joining us tonight from Learning Live Streaming with John Lacey in the chat? What's your flaw that you had to embrace so that you can get comfortable in being in front of the camera? Saeed, what was your flaw that you had to embrace so that you can get in front of the comfortable on the camera and press record and share your content? Tech Troublemaker, who's in the chat tonight, what was your flaw that you had to embrace? When we embrace our flaws as live stream hosts and as content creators, and just simple fact, even as people, as persons, we'll get more engagement, and that's so important, even if you are a person who is an introvert. I've come across, and I'm learning more about content creation, about people on YouTube, a whole slew of people who are on YouTube. One particular person that comes to mind, Roberto Blake, when he gave shared his story about how he's an introvert. And when you look at how successful his channel is, you would have never thought this guy was an introvert. But he was willing to embrace his flaws. And so increasing live stream engagement is about, hey, being yourself, being engaging, creating an experience for your live stream audience, and embracing your flaws. Hey, if you're getting great value out of this live stream discussion on 7 tips on how to increase live stream engagement with your audience when you're live, and don't forget Team Replay, the replay people who watch you, do me a favor, click that thumbs up button, either on LinkedIn, if you're watching me on LinkedIn like Saeed, or if you're watching me on YouTube, click that thumbs up button, share this on your favorite social media platform. So let's do some practical engagement and go here and see what people are saying in the chat, because we don't want to forget comments. Comments is a way your audience is able to engage with you. John says, resisting the desire to be perfect. Being perfect, whatever that means, resisting that desire. Oh yeah, John, that's a bonus tip right there. You know, and I really appreciate, you know, we all struggle with perfectionism in how we communicate, perfectionism in terms of our lighting, perfectionism in terms of our audio. We all struggle with it. Great point, John. Great point. Let's see what else we got here. John says, oh yes, in Huddle community, embracing one another. Okay. Just take a couple more comments. I am just flawed. I'm just flawed, General. Hey man, I understand, but you know how we roll here, Roy, at the Huddle, man. Broken crayons steal color. I hope you get that. Broken crayons in the hands of children. Sometimes when, you know, it's a holiday like an Easter Sunday, they got their Sunday best on and they want to go get their best crayons that their parents bought from the store. And then grandma says, no, you can't use them. Those are for school. You don't, you know, they got their friends over. So they get the basket of broken crayons. They get the bag of broken crayons. They get together and they start coloring. And when they're done, they go, mommy, daddy, auntie, uncle, look what I colored. In their eyes, they've colored a masterpiece. So you may be flawed, brother, but broken crayons steal color. Let's go down here, and then we're gonna get back to the content. Hit that like button. Yes, definitely. And you can connect. Definitely. All right. So we've covered our first 3 tips. Let's get back over here to the slide. Where did we leave off? We talked about embracing your flaws. Let's move on to tip number 4. You ready for this? Man, get your pen. Ladies, get your pad. This is a bombshell tip. You ready? Stop. See that stop sign there? Stop being so professional. And John hit on this. Being perfect. You're trying to be so perfect. Your journey of summiting and climbing Mount Everest, Mount Perfection, is causing you to lose the most important part of yourself. You being yourself and you just sharing your personality. Here at the Huddle, like I said, we're going to share tips and tools to help beginners. And part of me sharing my personality is just sharing you some basic practical fundamentals on how to get in front of the camera and go live. You know, sharing my personality on helping you and me have clarity about the type of content we want to create, so we understand our niche audience that we're trying to reach. You know, it's about how to be consistent on camera. But if I'm busy trying, as John said, about perfectionism, being perfect, I'm trying to be so professional. Don't get me wrong now. Being professional is important. You see my brand look, right? You see my colors. You see my little W at the top right there. You see my Huddle symbol. It's looking good. The lighting and the mic sound good. The video quality is good because I'm hardwired. Being professional is important. But don't try to summit the mountain of perfectionism in professionalism that you lose your personality. And because if people see that you ain't got no personality and you don't know how to smile, you don't know how to laugh, you don't know how to be real with people, guess what? Real recognizes real. Real recognizes people who are just trying to throw a bunch of content that they know up here, but they ain't really putting the practice themselves, and they're gonna leave you stream. So think about that. Tip number five. It's important when you are, and I am trying to share content that's going to grow an audience and increase engagement. It's important to do these things that we've talked about, these first 4 tips. But the 5th tip also is important about speaking to the single person that's in the audience, being able to have a real conversation with people. I appreciate individuals, and I'm going to jump back over here to the chat. I appreciate, and even though I pulled up his comment, I appreciate this man, John Lacey, because I check him out every Friday night. He's on at 6 p.m. So I catch him for the first 30 minutes, and then I go over to Florence from 6:30 to 7. But I appreciate him. And you would say, but he's your competition. He shares the same type of content you share. I don't view him as competition. I view him as a person that I can learn from. And he views me as a person that he can learn from me. And we can have a real conversation about the things that we're passionate about and that we have an interest about. When was the last time you, as a content creator, a live stream host, viewed your viewers as someone that, not that you're just spitting a bunch of knowledge and sharing a bunch of topics that you learn from Think Media or from Nick Nimmin or from Daryl Eves, but you sharing content that you feel that is important, that's helping you grow, and you will just want to share with others, and you want to have a real conversation about it. When you do that, you're going to increase your live stream engagement with your audience, not just in the chat of hashtag Team Live, but even those in the comments section of hashtag Team Replay. Tip number, gotta go back over to the screen here. We're talking about embracing your flaws. Tip number 6, genuine interest. Display genuine interest. When you're live doing a live stream, mistakes are going to happen. Internet issues are going to happen. You may, mute yourself trying to make a point, or the camera may flicker a little bit and come back on. Things are going to happen, but be disinterested. Be not disinterested. What am I talking about? Just show genuine interest. Display genuine interest with your audience. Don't see them and don't communicate to them that you just see them as a number, a like, a share, a comment. Don't come across as someone who's after vanity metrics and you see them as the next subscriber. Hey, I got people on LinkedIn, but I want to grow my YouTube, and so I want to get them over to YouTube. But maybe they're comfortable being on LinkedIn, and that's fine. Treat them more than just a number. Like I said, have a real conversation with your viewers. And I've gotten to the point now, there's been times I've seen viewers watch me live where I had over 300 people watch me. And when that happened, I didn't know what to do with myself because I didn't have enough hands like an octopus to be able to get to people in the chat. So I'm comfortable if there's 5 or 10 or 1. I like what Lori Bertucci said. Lori Bertucci said, if you are a person who's so caught up on metrics and numbers, you can have over 10,000 subscribers. But if you ain't getting no real engagement from that 10,000 subscribers, you just got a bunch of numbers and don't have any real relationship with an audience that you can grow, that's willing to buy your online course, that's willing to come listen to your podcast. I'd rather have my faithful, loyal 300 who are rolling with me week after week, that's engaging with me. That's engaging with me. You know, Pat Flynn called it 1,000 super fans. If you're trying to grow your YouTube channel or your LinkedIn, wherever platform you're on, grow it with the intention of having super fans, not just people of numbers that you have no real connection with, and you can't go further with them if you do put together a membership, if you do put a course together. Have genuine interest. I'm gonna stop right there, jump right back over here, because I think John got another important thing that we don't want to lose. I love the show at the time by time. Hold on, make sure I get it. I love the show at times by time ways. Sometimes I literally, oh, you forgive me, John. I'm literally asleep when you. This is great. Hey, John. I mean, you definitely gave me some thought because I've been so faithful on Saturday, and I do have to kind of consider if more of an audience is on a Friday night, then I may have to say goodbye to SmackDown and Roman Reigns on Friday night and hang out with the Huddle on a Friday night. So, hey, sir, I appreciate that feedback. Florence and myself in the Huddle community will definitely take that into consideration. Definitely. Hey, if you're getting great value, click that thumbs up button, hit the share button. And if you are new here, the Huddle, where you enjoy learning about tips, tools that helps beginner live streamers like yourself and me, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, click the alert notification button, make sure you join us in the conversation in the live chat. My dear sister says you can connect. Okay, I'm sorry. We did that already. Definitely, she's hooking a brother up. You can buy me a coffee, definitely, and help support the channel. I got one more, and then we're gonna get back over to this content. That makes sense. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, so let's get back over here. We've talked about displaying genuine interest, treating people more than just a number, treating more. Before I leave this point, I want you in the chat. The subscribers that you have, put in the chat. If you are on YouTube, now I know Saeed's on LinkedIn, but Saeed, if you have a YouTube channel, how many subscribers do you have? Just in the chat, real quick. Those of you who are just joining me, we're talking about 7 tips on how to increase your live stream engagement with your audience. And if you've been struggling with growing your audience and having more live stream engagement, this episode is definitely for you. Just so in the chat, real quick, I'm waiting. How many subscribers you got? Let me see some numbers here. Okay, I see here. I can get my pointer over here. Check what you put here. Site says about 40. Okay, 40. Give me some more. I need some more. At least two more. 130. All right. Good. And 113. Okay. So for those of you who put your numbers in, let me ask you this question. Of the subscribers that you have, what percent of them are you connected with on other platforms that you dialogue with them either in a chat or instant messenger or by email? How many of those, what percentage of those? 1%, 5%, 10%? You get the point of what I'm saying? When you display genuine interest and you treat people more than just a number, there's a connection sometimes even on other platforms with them that you connect with. John sends me material that I can read from time to time. And again, I'm watching his show. Florence is me and her, she's sending me content that she's sharing from her newsletter. When there is genuine interest, there's a willingness to build an online relationship. Now I realize we can't do that with all our subscribers, but if you at least hit 10%, then when it's time to roll out an online course, when it's time to roll out memberships, when it's time to make an announcement that you're releasing a new ebook for 2024, you have super fans that's going to be willing to support you because they've been rolling with you doing live engagement. All right, let's continue. Uh, Genuine interest, like button. Number 7, audience triggers. What type of audience triggers are you utilizing in your live streams that's going to help with increasing live engagement with your audience when you're live? Sometimes it's, through asking comments. Sometimes it's with asking questions and asking individuals, like we talked about, how many subscribers, an audience trigger. Sometimes it's a question that we've used in the past, simply is asking content creators, because I realize the journey can get rough sometimes, and we feel like we're alone in this journey. And sometimes you just need an outlet to be a part of a platform to say, hey, what was your win of the week? What was your win of the week as a content creator? What were you able to get that thumbnail done? Were you able to come up with 20 new content ideas? What was your win of the week? And to be able to share that, that's a type of audience triggers that people can respond to. Having audience triggers can be more than just having an applause button, having a long applause button from your Rodecaster Pro, or having some music. It goes deeper than that. Audience triggers are things that, again, make a human connection with your audience that'll make them want to come back over and over when they got the time available, when they see you live, like the Jedi Master of content creator, James Hicks, who's in the building. He have the time to jump on it and share and drop a knowledge bomb. He'll do it right in the middle of the stream. Again, because of sharing audience triggers that make a human connection and create an experience during your live stream. Everyone just greeting themselves, fine, cool. So that's tip number 7 in the chat. What type of, let's share some of your secret sauce. What type of audience triggers are you using? Audience triggers, are they just solely on your Rodecaster Pro? Maybe you have a particular picture that's in the background of your display. Maybe you have a pet or a dog that pops up and your viewers see it, and maybe that's an audience trigger. Utilize it to help increase live stream engagement, not just for your live viewers, but you can't forget your replay viewers, because a large percentage of your views, it's proven, are always going to come from the replay after you end the broadcast and you start to optimize your live stream for the replay. I just thought I'd throw it in. You just don't end the broadcast and then just go to the next one. Got to optimize it. Got to repurpose that content. All right. Got to repurpose that content. So let's jump back over here. Let's just jump to the summary, and then we're going to, get you guys out of here. I really appreciate you showing up tonight. Normally, like I said, we are on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. But John has, shared a great tip with me that he, him being in I believe you're in Australia, right, John? I think you're in Australia, because when I get ready to bring him on in 2024 as one of my first guests for the year, I'm going to have the Huddle on a Saturday night, which is the 4th Saturday in that month, so I can bring him and Sam on. And so I know that there is a broader audience that wants to learn and experience the Huddle. So maybe making that pivot. I know James is on the West Coast, so this 8 time I'm on is really just 5:30 for him. These left coasters, these LeBron James, Los Angeles Laker, West Coast people. Anyway, let's get to summary. So we've talked about, if you want to increase live stream engagement with your audience, you gotta first be engaging. Me when I first met James, since I'm going to talk, let me pull James up. Let me pull James up. I want to share a tip. He jumped on. Come on, there you go. Pop him up. Let's pop James back up. Let me start James. Okay, got James. Boom. When I first met James as a content creator, creating content, he was, kind enough to come on my live stream show, and we talked, and he had a live stream show, and he brought me on, and then we had a couple of video chats off air, through, I think, either Google Meets or Zoom. And I shared with him about how I was so impressed about what he was doing and just how he made me feel so welcome and wanted a part of his digital collective that he was building. And I gave the analogy that I felt like I was a new kid coming to a new school for the first time, and I was at the lunchroom, and I wasn't for sure what lunchroom table to sit at because I use a PC. I'm not a Mac user. I'm not an Ecamm. So in his world, there's a bunch of Ecamm people. So all these lunchroom tables are Ecamm people. But because my connection with him, he made me feel so welcome and a part of his digital collective. I said, that's the lunchroom table of content creators I want to sit at. I may not know all of them. They all may have bigger numbers than me. They may be doing this all long enough. But he created the type of environment that made me feel comfortable in coming to his lunchroom table, subscribing to his channel, checking out his content, and from time to time when he tells me to come on as a viewer to watch. My point is, he was being engaging with me. When you create content, are you constantly just trying to pump content so you can get the next viewer or subscriber? Are you measuring your progress of your growth? James asked the question last week about how do you measure your progress? Are you measuring it based upon numbers and metrics? Or are you measuring it based on the type of relationships you're building with people by being engaging? Tip number 2, create an experience in your live streams for your live viewers who are watching your content and learning from you, whether if it's educational or entertaining. Number 3, be willing to embrace your flaws. Embrace your flaws, your weaknesses, that part, that imposter syndrome that you struggle with. That imposter syndrome, embrace it, and then stop being so professional. So I had to bleep myself out. And what I simply mean by that is, don't lose your personality over being so darn professional. Share your personality. Mix the professionalism and the personality together. Always be willing to not just speak to the audience, but speak to that one viewer, like we just did sharing with James, and display a genuine interest and utilize audience triggers. And so, my question of the day that I have for you, if I can get back over here. There we go. Question of the day. What was your biggest takeaway from tonight's tutorial on how to increase your live stream engagement? So when you get ready to go live next Friday, you get ready to go live on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday night, what's your biggest takeaway that you're going to utilize for your live streams? Is it about being in more engagement, being more mindful of your experience? You as a content creator being willing to have the courage to embrace and share your flaws? Or pulling back that professionalism, trying to be so perfect, trying to climb the mountain of perfectionism that you lose the personality in you? Being willing to acknowledge that one person, displaying interest or audience trigger. Which one of these? Let me know in the chat. That's the content tonight. Definitely, I'm loving this Friday night. Florence, when I get back from Syracuse, we definitely gonna have to talk. Because normally, like John says, I'm normally on Saturday morning. So him being in Australia, I think it's like 2-3 in the morning for him to come watch me. But because I have to pick up my daughter and bring her home for the Syracuse, and with the Christmas holidays, I'm going to take that trip up there. But I'm enjoying this Friday night. I'm liking this. I'm liking this. There's more people in the chat here. If I just learn how to scroll the screen down and acknowledge my dear sister Stephanie, who's joining me from Creatively Me Decorating with a Budget. If those of you in the chat with the holidays, if you need some ideas on how to decorate depending if you celebrate Hanukkah or if you celebrate Kwanzaa, if you celebrate Christmas, or you just celebrate the holidays, or you just don't celebrate no holiday, but you just want some ideas on how to decorate the dinner table so you can have a good dinner with the family during the holidays, you want to check out my sister Stephanie's channel. She'll give some great tips on decorating your channel, decorating the home for having that warm, lovely dinner for the holidays. Want to explore the audience trigger. Think about rituals and primal branding. Okay, cool. You know I'm gonna be there, John, or even I'm definitely gonna catch the replay. What we got here? Gotta work on my audience triggers. Cool. John says, happy holidays to everyone. Definitely. Don't talk to you again beforehand. Okay, cool. So, like I said, if you are an individual who needs some tips on decorating the home and decorating the dinner table for these holidays, definitely check out my sister Stephanie. She got some great content on decorating the home, or if you struggling with getting up that Christmas tree and you just you don't want to deal with that boring way you want to decorate the tree, check out my sister. She got you. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and bring this train into the station. And I want to thank each and every one of you being a part of the huddle. My man Saeed on LinkedIn, thank you for joining me. And anyone else who was just listening in the background on LinkedIn, and those of you here on the live chat, I pray that this has given you some great value and gave you some great tips that's going to help you, not just in your content creation journey, but increasing the engagement with your audience that you're making a connection with each time you go live. And so with that said, we're going to go ahead and bring this train into the station, and we will be back. I'm going to talk to my live stream moderator about Fridays and check her schedule, and we'll get back to the rest of the huddle community on Friday nights. I'm liking this. You know, I can always check SmackDown and wrestling, catch it on YouTube, the highlights anytime, but hanging out with you guys is so much important. So until then, we will talk to you soon. God bless.